guys, welcome to your full moon yoga class for June. The full moon this month is on Friday, June 5th. It's going to be a full moon in Sagittarius, and it's also going to be a lunar eclipse. So before I even get started, I just want to say that this class is going to be centered around speaking up, speaking your truth, trusting yourself, speaking up for injustice, and I'm going to be putting in the description, I'm going to put a few links to support Black Lives Matter, to get justice for George Floyd, and just I'm currently silenced on my Instagram to amplify melanated voices and people of color and Black-owned businesses, and this is something I'm very passionate about, and as everyone should be, because this is injustice that's happening in the world. And I kind of debated on whether or not I should even do a full moon yoga this month because of what's going on. I want to amplify all the melanated voices, all the people of color, and kind of take a seat back myself and use my platform to promote them. But I did get a lot of requests for this, and I did get a lot of requests for a yoga class for trauma, a yoga class to speak up for what is happening, and what better way to use my platform. So that's what I'm doing today. And yeah, so again, in the description, there's going to be links to all the resources, all the donations, like everything you could possibly support for Black Lives Matter. If you follow me on Instagram at Nourish Natasha, I'm in my stories sharing all the stories and voices from people of color, and taking kind of a step back myself, like I said. So yeah, donate if you can. Donate your time. I would be out protesting if I could. I have an autoimmune disease, so I still can't really be out in public with coronavirus, but I'm donating where I can, I'm educating where I can, sharing resources, and just using my platform to speak up. So that's what we're doing today. This, again, it's a lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipses are like 10 times as powerful as a full moon. Because of everything that is happening, this is revolution, this is change, and that is exactly what this full moon is going to be about. The full moon in Sagittarius, so again, if you remember 2 classes ago, so the last full moon class, it was the full moon in Scorpio, so that was like all the emotions coming up. We got really deep in our hips, and we gave ourselves a safe space to feel our emotions. And then with the new moon in Gemini, so the last video, that was about opening up the throat chakra and speaking up, communication. So we're going to do a little bit of both in this class. Sagittarius does also rule the hips, the thighs, the liver, kind of your organs in there, and still the sacral chakra. And we need to speak up. So we need to take those emotions and know, and what we know is right, and we need to speak up about it. So our mantra for this class is I trust myself and I will speak my truth. So whatever that means for you, however you want to show up, do it, speak it, trust yourself, you know what's right, follow your intuition, and speak out against injustice, and do what you can. So that's what we're doing in this class today. Yeah, might as well get right into it. So we are going to get started in wide-legged child's pose. So it is a hip opener. If you prefer regular child's pose, please find a regular child's pose. But wide-legged child's pose, your knees are going to be about as wide as your mat. You're going to sink your hips back to your feet, and you're just going to walk your arms out, dropping your chest to the mat. So a little bit of a heart opener, hip opener, a little bit everything going on here. And we're just going to hang out here while we focus on our mantra, and we focus on the change that we want to bring to this world, the truth that we want to bring to this world. And as we do this, start to bring your attention to your breath. And we need to bring ourselves to the present. It's so easy to get caught up in everything that is happening, and yes, we need to show up, and yes, we need to do what's right, but we also need to take care of ourselves, our mental health. This is a traumatic time for everyone. So just take a moment here to breathe, to get centered, to get grounded. Envisioning your breath as it goes in and out through your nose. And like I said, we already gave ourselves a safe space to feel. And then we learned to open up our throat chakra and to communicate. So now with this lunar eclipse, this is breakthrough. This is no more silence. This is listening to your inner voice and listening to the voices of the people suffering from injustice right now. This is surrender, surrendering to your gut, surrendering to that inner voice, and breakthroughs, revolution. So focus on that as you breathe. Starting to settle more into this child's pose, sinking your hips even farther back to your heels, sinking your chest even deeper to the ground. And as we breathe, say that mantra, say it out loud. I trust myself. I will speak my truth. I will stand up for injustice. We need to use our voices. So while you're here, let's do some 5-part breathing just to get really focused. So I want you to inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and inhale. And exhale, you're just going to walk your hands over to the right, so getting a little side stretch here. Feeling that in the left side body. Go ahead and inhale, come through center. And exhale, just walk your hands over to the left, stretching out the right side body. Go ahead and inhale, gently come back through center. Relax here just for another moment. Now remember, this is yoga for trauma, and we carry most of our trauma and our emotions in our hips, as we've learned in these past few classes. So if you feel emotions start to come up, let it out. Cry if you need to. We gave ourselves a safe space to feel our emotions. You can trust yourself in knowing that your emotions are right. They're not wrong. We have to release. When inhale, gently come up to a tabletop position. Speaking of releasing, we're going to get in some twists here. We're going to start with that right hand. You're going to inhale, up and open. And exhale, go ahead and thread the needle. So your shoulders coming to your mat. That right arm coming to the ground, taking a twist here. This left hand can kind of sit wherever it feels right for you. You can extend it overhead. You can take a half bind behind your back. Just listen to your body. Feeling the release of this twist. Don't forget to breathe. Go ahead and bring that left hand to plant in front of your face. Press into it to open up. And exhale, release. We'll take it to the other side. So inhale, that left arm open. And exhale, thread the needle, taking that twist. Again, do whatever with your right hand here that you did with the left, evening out your sides. Maybe extending it overhead or taking a half bind behind your back. And breathe. Go ahead and place that right hand in front of your face. Press into it. Opening up again. And exhale, go ahead and release. You can shake it out for a second. We're gonna come to sit on our knees. I'm gonna get some lateral stretches in here, a little bit of neck stretches, again, to focus on that throat chakra. So I want you to drop your right hand to the mat. You're gonna inhale that left arm up and open, getting a little side stretch here. Trying to keep your chest open to the sky. You don't want to slouch here, you really want to open up. And inhale, come through center, and exhale over to the other side. Feeling this in the side body, maybe even this outer hip. Go ahead and inhale, center. Exhale, left side one more time. And inhale, center. Exhale, over. Last time here. And go ahead and inhale, come to center. We're gonna get a little bit into our neck here. So I want you to interlace your fingers. You're gonna place those fingers right on the base of your skull where your spine meets your skull. And again, don't pull on it too hard. This is gonna be very gentle here. What I want you to do is inhale, open up the elbows. Try to bring your chin up, gaze goes up. It's gonna open up the chest and the shoulders. And exhale, I want you to round very gently, gently pulling on the head, rounding the spine, chin to chest. And inhale, open up. Again, trying to open up that chest. And exhale, round. Focusing on opening up the heart and the throat. Do 5 more rounds of this on your own breath. Taking it as fast or as slow as you need to go. Remembering that as we open up this throat chakra, it gives us our voice to speak up for what we know is right. This is the breaking point. This is the revolution. Go ahead and finish your last round, holding your chin to your chest. You can drop those hands. We're going to still keep that chin to chest. And you're just going to shake your head no, stretching out that neck. Go ahead and inhale, lift your head, and then nod your head yes. Again, slow, intentional movement here. And go ahead and come to center. We're going to do some seated folds here, getting into the hips a little bit more. First, we're just going to do a bound angle pose, so bringing your foot bottoms together to touch, opening up those hips in that butterfly position. We're going to inhale our arms up, and exhale, we're just going to fold on over. Now, it doesn't matter how far you can go. I'm a little tight. I can't go super far. Truth be told, I haven't done yoga in a hot minute because I've just been kind of overwhelmed by everything in my life and happening in the world. So I'm very tight, and that's okay. Trauma causes this tightness. It causes that tightness, especially in the hips where we carry all of our emotion. And that's why we're working through it. Go ahead and inhale, come back up. You can extend your legs out. We're going to take a wide-legged fold. Again, you don't have to go very wide. Know your limits. Inhale your arms up. And exhale, just fold with the flat spine. Oh, guys, I'm so tight. My hips, my hamstrings, everything. And it's okay. Trauma and everything takes a toll on the body. It does. We feel all this in our bodies. We might not notice it, but we do. Go ahead and inhale. Gently come up. Now we're gonna do a little variation of this. So wide-legged fold, but with a bent leg. We're gonna do each side. So first start with bending the left leg. So you're gonna bend it back. So what that looks like is it's kind of like a modified hero pose. Now if you can't do this, keep the leg straight. You might already feel the stretch happening. Like I can already feel it in my iliopsoas muscle and in my hip. I can already feel it. So don't fold very far. If you can't, you're probably not gonna be able to fold really far unless you have super bendy hips. So we're gonna inhale for a flat spine and exhale, kind of start to fold in between the legs. You're gonna feel this in the hamstring of the right leg and in the hip of that left leg. And again, you might not be able to go very far. We're activating a different muscle here. We're stretching one that we don't get into very often. Feeling it in the low back as well. Go ahead and inhale, come up. Switch out the legs, might need to shake that one out. It's very easy to get cramps in this pose. So we're gonna bend that right leg. And again, the sides might be different. You might feel a little bit more, a little bit less in each side. It's okay. I'm gonna inhale, flat spine, and exhale again, fold kind of in between the legs. The more you kind of lean towards this leg, you'll feel it in the hamstring. The more you lean towards the bent leg, you'll feel it in the hip. See, I can go a little bit deeper on this side. Go ahead and inhale, gently come up. All right, you can shake it out. We're gonna come back to a tabletop position. So shoulder, elbow, wrists are all in line. Your hips are right over your knees. We're gonna take it to a downward facing dog. So you're gonna tuck your toes and just inhale the hips up and back. You're gonna take your dog for a walk here. So pedaling out the feet, you'll be shaking out the hips. Whatever feels right for you. Inhale, gaze to the top of your mat, and exhale, just go ahead and step into a forward fold. Now again, you can do what feels good here. This is our first forward fold. So maybe you bend into your knees a little bit more, really get into that low back. Maybe you grab for opposite elbows. Reminding yourself that if any emotions come up, it's okay. It's okay to feel. Trust your feelings, trust your intuition, and follow those feelings and follow your intuition towards the breakthrough. Go ahead and bring your hands to your shins, press into them, inhale for a halfway lift, flat spine, and exhale, fold. One inhale, come all the way up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart center. You can close your eyes here. Take a few moments of breath. In and out through the nose. Listening to those thoughts, those emotions that come up, honoring them, honoring your voice, your intuition. Take a big inhale in through your nose. And open mouth, exhale. Big inhale in through the nose. And open mouth, exhale. One more just like that. Big inhale in. And exhale, release. Go ahead and open your eyes. We're going to warm up our hips a little bit with some chair pose. So find the foot position you like for your chair. Some people like hips distance apart. I like mine big toes together to touch. You're going to inhale those arms up. Exhale, sink it to a chair. So like you're sitting in an imaginary chair, you're sinking your booty back. Try to keep a flat spine. You don't want to be super arched here. Maybe tuck the pelvis a little bit. Make sure you can see those toes over your knees. Any hand variation, arm variation that you like, take it. And we're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, come up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart center. We're gonna do that sequence 2 more times. Go ahead and inhale, arms up. Exhale, sink into that chair. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come to standing. And exhale, hands to heart center. This last one, I want you to do on your own. I'm not going to cue it. You know the movements. You can watch me if you need to. Just listen to your breath and listen to your body. Go and start when you're ready. We'll meet with our hands at heart center. Closing the eyes, taking a moment of silence. A moment of silence for all the injustice, for all the lives lost, for everything that's happening right now. And remember that you can speak up about it. And if you don't have the right words to say, use your platform and let others, let people of color, let Black people speak up with your voice. Amplify them. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. We're going to inhale our arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. I want you to plant your hands and just step back to a downward facing dog, nice and easy. Pedal out your feet for a moment. We're going to get really deep in the hip openers here. I want you to inhale your right leg up and back for a 3-legged dog, and then I want you to bend at the knee. So really opening up that hip. You can take little circles if you want. You can straighten and bend. Just really opening up that hip. And go ahead and release. We'll take it to the other side. So inhale that left leg up and back. And then bend at the knee. Take any little movements here that feel good. And then go ahead and release. Shake it out for a moment. Now we're going to inhale that right leg up and back. Exhale your knee into your chest. And go ahead and plant it for a lunge. Now if you can't plant your foot, no worries. Just grab your leg, shimmy down up there. And we're going to drop the back knee. Now I want you to make sure this front knee is right over your ankle. If you need blocks, you can set your hand on blocks here. You can bring it up to your thigh. If you want the full expression, go ahead and inhale your arms up. Taking this full low lunge. I like to place my hands on my hips just to make sure my hips are square to the front of the mat. And we breathe here. Take a big inhale in. Exhale, release your hands to the mat. Bring both hands to the inside of the foot. You're going to shimmy that foot kind of up to the front right corner of your mat. You can open up the foot if you need to. So instead of keeping it flat, just coming to the side of your foot, opening up. This is lizard pose. So we're really opening up that right hip. Now you can stay on your palms. You can drop to your forearms. Listen to your body. We all have different levels of flexibility. Don't forget to breathe while you're here. Gently come back to your hands. If you can take a little quad stretch here. We're going to get back into this lizard, adding the quad stretch or not. If you want to go for the quad stretch, you're going to come, bring that foot up on the knee, pointing the toe up. You can stay right here if you want. If it's accessible for you, you're going to reach around, grab that foot with the right hand, opening up everything here. Sagittarius does rule the quads, the thighs, the hips, so we're kind of hitting the Sagittarius pose right here.
And again, if this is too much, you can drop the back foot. You can just take a low lunge. Now when we're going to release, I don't want you to boomerang this foot down. You're going to release nice and gentle. Bring it down, and now from here, we're going to go right into pigeon. So we're taking this right leg, you're going to scooch it on over, straight into that pigeon pose. Take a second to check in here with the hips. Take a little bit of a back bend. Sorry, I have the hiccups, guys. And then go ahead and exhale. Put your pigeon to sleep. Now while we're here in this very deep hip stretch again, notice what emotions come up. Are you releasing some traumas here? Are you feeling the collective trauma? Listen to those voices. How are you going to speak up? How are you going to speak your truth? Because that's part of the healing. Part of healing trauma is speaking about it. Think about that as you breathe. When you're ready, go ahead and come back to your palms. We're going to shift back into a downward facing dog. If that is too much for you, I just want you to return to your tabletop and then go to downward dog. If you want to take a little more intermediate transition, you're going to tuck the back toes, press into the palms, and shift back into that three-legged dog. Shake that leg out, and then release. Again, shake it out. Maybe rock your hips here. We're going to take it to the other side. So inhaling that left leg up and back. Exhale the knee into the chest and plant it for your lunge. Again, we're going straight into a low lunge here. So find your edge. If it's here, that's fine. If you need blocks, totally fine. Maybe you come up to the thigh. Maybe you inhale, the arms up. Check in, make sure your hips are square. And breathe. Taking a big inhale. Exhale, bring both hands to the inside of the foot again. Scooching this foot kind of up to the left-hand corner of your mat, so open and out. Maybe you open up the foot here. Maybe find that lizard pose. So again, maybe staying on your hands. Maybe dropping to the forearms. Getting deep into that hip. And breathing. Sending your breath to that hip. Now when you're ready, we're going to go for that quad stretch. If not, you're going to stay in your lizard pose. If you want to take that quad stretch, maybe you're bending at the knee. Maybe you reach around, grab a hold, and open up here, opening the hip, the thigh, the chest, a little bit of everything. Now when we release nice and gentle. We come back to our lizard stretch and we're going to shift into that pigeon. So again, just scooting that foot in, coming straight to pigeon pose. Again, lots of intense hip openers here. You should be feeling it. Take a moment to take a back bend. And then exhale, fold over the leg. And again, we breathe here. And we listen to those emotions that are coming up. We don't ignore them. When you're ready, you can come back to your palms. Again, we're transitioning back to a three-legged dog. If that's too much for you, you're just going right to your tabletop position. Tucking the toes, pressing into the palms. And just stepping back, shaking it out a bit, and then you can release. From here, I just want you to release into a child's pose, wide-legged or otherwise, just for a little rest here. If you maybe want to get a little bit deeper into the throat chakra, really open up that communication, you could even come to a puppy pose. So that's keeping the hips over the knees, gazing your up at your fingers with the chin on the mat, opening up the neck, the throat, the upper spine, and we breathe. When you're ready, I want you to gently just come to a seat on your mat. We're going to do little figure 4 stretches, and then we're going to go to the back. So we're going to start with the right side. So the right leg is straight, left leg is bent, with that foot pressing up against the thigh. I want you to shift your torso over that right leg. Inhale for a flat spine, and then exhale, fold. So stretching out the low back of the hip, hamstring a little bit. This is one of my favorite stretches. And every pose we're in, don't forget to breathe. Breathing is what regulates our nervous system. It's what kind of calms us down if we're feeling those emotions, we're feeling those traumas. It brings us back to the present, and it helps us release. Go ahead and inhale, come back up. Switching out the legs. So straightening that left leg, bending the right. Centering your torso over that left leg. Inhale for a flat spine. And exhale, just fold on over. Inhale, come back up. We're going to find our way to our backs on our mat. So when you're ready, just come back to that Savasana nice and slow. We got a little bit more hip work here, a little bit of twist. We're going to do a happy baby sequence. So I want you to start with drawing your right knee into your chest. Just the right knee, keeping the left knee extended, and you're just going to kind of hold it there. If this is enough for you, you're going to stay right here. If you want more of a hip opener, you're going to grab that foot and take a half happy baby. Breathing here, really opening the hip. Trying to pull that knee down to the ground. And gently go ahead and release. Switch out the leg, so this time your left knee is coming in. You're pulling it into your chest, and maybe this is enough for you. If you want a little bit more, you're going to grab that foot and pull it down. And when you're ready, go ahead and release. Shake it out for a moment, maybe take a morning stretch. And then we're going to find our full happy baby, so drawing both knees into the chest this time. Now you can either grab your foot bottoms, you can grab your calves, you can grab your thighs, whatever is accessible for you. Opening up the hips, the low back. Don't forget to breathe. And go ahead and gently release. Shake it out for a moment. Now when you're ready, we're going to bring both of our foot bottoms to the mat. So bending the knees, we're going to take a reclined pigeon here. So I want you to bring that right ankle to your left thigh. Now if this is enough, you're going to stay right here opening. You might want to press a little bit on that thigh to open up that hip. If you want a little bit more, you're going to draw it to your chest. Reach in between that space you just created, grabbing the back of the thigh and pulling it towards you. If you want even more, you can straighten that back leg. Really just pulling that leg in, kind of pressing this right one open with your elbow. A little bit more, you can flex your feet. Go ahead and gently release. Switching out the sides. So left ankle is now coming to the right thigh again. This is enough for you. You can stay right here, pressing that hip open. If not, we're reaching between that space we just created, grabbing the back of the thigh, pulling it in. Maybe we straighten the back leg. Maybe flex the feet. Just really pulling it into you. Remembering to breathe. Go ahead and gently release. You can windshield wiper out your legs for a moment. We're going to take some final twists. So you can bring your arms out to a T position. We're just going to draw our knees into our chest. And go ahead and exhale. Drop the right over to the right side. Maybe gaze over your shoulder in the opposite direction. These twists are our final release. Again, releasing the low back, the hips, anywhere we store those traumas and those emotions. So if there's anything that you've still been holding on to, now is the time to let it go. Release it. Speak it. And inhale, draw the legs to center, and exhale, drop them over to the left. Maybe gazing over the opposite shoulder. Go ahead and inhale, draw everything to center. If there's any final pose that you would like to take, please go there. If there's not, we're going to go right into our Savasana. Now, I'm going to take Supta Baddha Konasana. That's bound angle pose, just reclined, supine. So bringing your foot bottoms together to touch and opening up the hips to just get that final bit of hip opening. Release in here. If you need blocks to kind of support your legs, you can put them right under your thighs or your knees if this is too intense. Please feel free to take any variation of Savasana that you like. You don't have to take this one. And you can bring your hands maybe to your hips, to your low belly, to that sacral chakra, maybe to your heart, or you can just place them on the ground, palms facing up to receive energy, and palms facing down to get grounded. We close our eyes, and we bring it back to our breath. We notice what might have come up during that practice, what emotions, what traumas, what breakthroughs. And now that we know that we trust ourselves enough, our mantra is, I trust myself. If you trust yourself enough to know that your intuition is right, to know that it's time to speak up, to know that it's time for breakthroughs, to know that it's time to speak up, to know that it's time for breakthroughs, 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 to know that This is when we speak our truth and we use our voices. So think on that as we breathe here. I'll let you know when it's time to come back. When you're ready, you can bring your awareness back to your space, back to your body. Maybe wiggle your toes or wiggle your fingers. Maybe you roll out your wrists or roll out your ankles. If you're in Supta Baddha Konasana, you can gently bring those hips to close. You can draw your knees into your chest. Give them one final hug. And then we release into our fetal pose, either side, using that bottom arm as a pillow. Remembering that fetal pose symbolizes new beginnings and fresh starts. Keeping your eyes closed, gently press yourself up to a seat, whatever seat that you're comfortable in. I want you to bring your hands to either side of you, feeling the mat beneath your fingertips. Inhale your arms up, taking all that energy we just created. Exhale, bring them back down, releasing anything that doesn't serve you. Inhaling them up one more time. Exhale, bring the palms together to touch and draw your hands to your heart center. Remember, I trust myself and I will speak my truth. Now is the time to speak up against injustice. I'll have links in the description box to support the Black Lives Matter movement, for resources, for donations. On my Instagram, Nourish Natasha, my feed will be silenced to amplify melanated voices, to share those resources, those donation links, to share information, to share those voices that need to be heard. I'll also be posting a blog post about the lunar eclipse, about this full moon. I'll put the link in the description as well. Thank you so much for doing this class. Thank you so much for speaking your truths, for speaking up. The light in me honors the light in each of you. We bow to our practice. Namaste.